Hello and welcome back to a different type of YouTube video today. This is going to be a bit more of a podcast style video, I guess you could say, because I'm going to be taking you through exactly how I'm managing my post-show phase with the guidance of my coach, Finn from Natural Physiques, and the different things that I'm incorporating and how I suggest people to do it as well. Now, everyone's got their own journey and everyone manages things differently, but as someone who struggled with my post-show 2 years ago, where I binged ate, had a horrible relationship with food, gained lots of excess weight very, very quickly, and ruined an off-season completely, which I had to diet down again for, which you never want to do post-show. It's all about getting as healthy as quickly as possible and making sure you set yourself up for a really good off-season and fix your relationship with food as well, because I think that's the most common thing that people struggle with. Not everyone does, but these are a few of the things that I am doing now to make sure that I get to a healthy spot and that I optimize myself during this period whilst still enjoying life and getting back to normal things and not being too strict on myself, right? So a few of the topics that I'm going to be covering, I've written them out here. And I'm also going to be sharing my screen on a few things like my diet plan and other things like that, right? So recovery diet versus reverse diet, why I'm doing the recovery diet, detaching from being lean, why being lean is overrated, my full diet plan and macros at the moment for my recovery diet, my meal plan options, so the different foods and how I'm incorporating flexibility into my diet. So what my goals are body weight wise within the next couple of weeks post show, the mental side of post show, the importance of post show, food focus, tips to stay on plan, and what to do if you slip up. So now I'm sure there's a couple other things that I could discuss, and how I fit in off plans into my meals, etc. I'll take you through all of that, but without further ado, let's get straight into the recovery diet versus reverse diet. So everyone's got their own sort of ideas on what those mean and how they actually work and all these different things, but the recovery diet was coined by a team called 3DMJ, 3D Muscle Journey. Highly recommend you listen to their podcast. They've got lots of education on there, so that's another thing. If you're an aspiring coach, getting a lot of education from 3DMJ, really, really good, especially on the natural side of things, okay? So recovery diet, actually, let's start with reverse diet. Reverse diet is all about post-show incrementally building up your calories from where you started at the end, whilst you essentially getting to maintenance, staying at a very lean body composition, and then keep increasing calories from there into an off season, right? And the whole idea behind it is you stay as lean as possible to maximize your off season, but then also make it a lot easier to diet down. Now, I don't like the reverse diet and I don't think it's a good idea. That's why the 3DMJ team created the recovery diet, which a lot of people did regardless, and a lot of people do it unintentionally as well, which is a good thing. And essentially, the reverse diet is a very extreme thing that I think at least only 1 out of 10 people can actually stick to, if not less, right? You can't get less than 1 out of 10. Let's call it 1 out of 20, 1 out of 30, whatever, because it's so extreme and pretty much you treat post show like you're still in prep. So no changes whatsoever, no sense of normality in terms of giving back to those around you and eating like normal, things like that, right? And you're not getting rid of the fatigue side of things that prep cause, sleep, libido, hormone balance, food focus, food relationship, your satiety, training performance, recovery. All these different things are things that you want to get right up to maximum so you can go into an off season healthy and sort yourself out, especially as natural athletes, right? On the assisted side of things, God, I can't speak, it's probably a bit different. I'm not too well versed with that, okay? Completely being honest there. But recovery diet, I only recommend to those who are post-show because that's where generally people get down to very, very low body fat percentages. And that's where you need to recover rather than reverse. Whereas people who are maybe dieting down for lifestyle, a reverse diet might be a better option because you don't have those signs of dieting sort of the bad things that come with dieting when you get stupidly lean and they actually affect you to a significant amount. But anyway, with reverse diet, you've got to essentially, let's just say you increase calories 50 by a week or every day, whatever the case is. Body weight increase is really slow. You stay super lean, so most of the time your sleep's still awful, your training performance is still awful, you've still got no libido, like recovery's bad, all these different things. And essentially, you're not getting yourself out of the hole that you dug yourself in during prep. Whereas a recovery diet, now it all depends on how lean you got. So, you know, if you've got striated glutes and everything is peeled to the bone, then recovery diet is absolutely brilliant. But also it's important to take into aspect things like how you're feeling during prep. How's your relationship during food? Like, do you hate training at the moment? Can you not recover? Can you not sleep? Like, all these different things play into account of it. But recovery diet is essentially you go into a pretty hefty surplus right off the bat so that you gain body fat on purpose to get you to a healthy body fat percentage so that all of those markers can increase and you start feeling better. So that's your sleep, libido, like all those things I mentioned already. And, you know, sometimes you can get up to like an 1,000 calorie surplus. Like, it all depends on what point you're at. Now with me, I would guess my maintenance is around 2,800 to 3,000. I'm eating like 3,500 calories. It could be less, my maintenance, but I'm not too sure at the moment. I'm actually kind of losing weight, but I'm not sure if that's because I had an off-plan meal the day of show, so still dropping a bit of water. But I'll take you through all my weights and stuff in a minute. So my calories will probably be going up soon. So I'm on like 3,500 calories, and it's all about just building me back up to normal, right? And that plays into a lot about why I'm doing it, which is the next topic. So why am I doing a recovery diet? Because I don't want to feel like this anymore. I want my sleep to go back to normal. I want my mental health to go back to normal. I want libido again. I want that drive in terms of libido. It's important, right? You want to feel like, at least I do. I don't know if this sounds bad, but I want to feel like a man again. That's a massive aspect of it. You know, my sleep was pretty bad during prep, so I want to get on top of that. My food relationship, like, make sure I can start feeling full again and I'm not thinking about food all the time, which is a common thing. So that's realistically why I'm doing it. I don't care about my body. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to be normal around the people I love again. And I want to be able to get into an off season. And then also, in terms of the recovery diet, I know that is something that I can stick to. Whereas the reverse diet, I tried doing last time, but I left my coach 2 years ago. This time I've stayed with my coach. So that's another tip. Stay with your coach post show. But I know with the recovery diet, I'm going to be able to stick to it because it's a lot more calories and it gives me that mental thought of, oh, I'm eating more, so it's okay. And it gives you a lot more flexibility as well to add things in that you haven't ate during prep or you've been craving. So next topic is detaching from being lean. So that's another aspect. I think a lot of my clients struggle with that as well, is it is not good to be lean all the time. All this lean is law, blah, 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 blah. It's stupid, guys. Like, what are you actually doing fitness for? To stay lean or for physique development? I know for me, it's for physique development and actually improve for myself, enjoy the gym for myself. Because if I stayed lean all the time, I'm doing it for others because I know deep down I feel like all the time. I don't want to swear in case I get demonetized. But yeah, I know I feel awful all the time, but others might think I look sick and you might get more attention. But then think about all the downsides that come to it, right? You're not in an optimal spot to build muscle. And I want to be able to build muscle. I want to be able to look back on my physique next year and think, wow, I've put on a lot of muscle. I look better. This is exactly why I go to the gym, why I compete. And I want my clients to realize that as well. And a lot of them do, which is awesome. And that's something I have to instill into them in terms of that mindset of it's okay not being lean because we want to build muscle. We want to be healthy. We want to feel good. We don't want to sacrifice our relationship with those around us. And we want a bit of flexibility in life, right? If you're staying on a diet plan that's strict 24/7 all year round, some people can do that, and some people have the people around them that allows them to do that, and that's completely fine. But some people, they love going out for food. They love incorporating like Costa coffees with a bit more calories. And it's okay to not like be lean 24/7. I promise you. You can get lean for summer, get cool photos, post them all year round, okay? And in terms of social media, being lean is not going to get you famous. I promise you. There is always going to be a physique that's better than yours. There's always going to be a 14-year-old who's triple the size of you and leaner than you. That includes bloody me. They're definitely bigger than me. And you know, that's what gets famous in that aspect. You just have to be yourself on social media, put yourself across as true and authentic, and you'll do good, right? It's not about being lean. So now we will go over my full diet plan macros, which I'll pop up on my screen. So we'll take it over to the next segment. Testing. Right, that's just for me to have that there. Okay, let's close this. Right, so hopefully you should be able to see my screen now. If not, then I will pop screenshots up. So this is the first time I've actually recorded my screen like this. But this is my diet plan. Now, my coach has given it all onto my Google Sheets. However, I've transferred everything over onto the software I use for my clients because it's a lot easier to use on my phone and a lot easier for me to understand, and I can create meal options, right? So I want to go over my training day and rest day macros. So we are on 260 protein roughly, 450 carb, 77 fat, 3,520 calories. So the fiber, ignore that because I haven't implemented fiber into all the data. And then rest days, 260 protein, 400 carb, 75 fat, 3,349. Thereabouts, right? The calories may alter because it's different, like macro splits on the foods that I use versus what my coach, but it's exactly the same. So that's exactly what I'm eating at the moment. Now, one thing I wanted to take you through before I get into that is my data collection. So how things have been looking for me as of recent. So this is my Google Sheet with my coach. So the day of the show, so the green one here, 71.2 kilograms. Now, post show, 73.5. The next day, then 73.4, 73.3. This morning, 72.7. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm looking, where I'm at. 2 training days, rest day today, rest day yesterday, and rest day today. So you can kind of see there, that's my training split, but that's kind of how my weight's been looking. So potentially looking at a food increase. But anyway, going into meal options. So what I've done, which is a good tip, if you've got Google Sheets or you've got a coach, I always recommend adding some meal options in. So what I've done is I've followed my coach's meal plan. So meal number 1 for every single meal. I won't take you through rest day because it's pretty much the exact same, just altered. But I've done meal number 1 or the option 1 as exactly what my coach has told me to eat. But then I've added 2 or 3 options for myself to be able to have a bit of flexibility for foods I know I enjoy, right? And maybe a bit more volume, whatever the case is. And that's just so I don't need to sit there and think about exactly what I'm doing, and I don't need to calorie track everything to the exact macronutrient, and it just makes it a lot easier for me, right? So option 1, there we are. And then option 2, I've switched it to egg whites, some potato, veg, some extra virgin olive oil, some peanut butter drizzle, any sauce up to 25 calories, right? Meal number 3, 4 eggs, baked beans, veg, 60 calorie bread or crumpet thins, any sauce up to 25 calories, right? So I've kind of fit this around the schedule of foods I know I'd probably crave, right? My pre-workout, same thing. We got cream of rice or pasta and rice with beef or potato with beef, right? All these different things. And I've got a wrap there, incorporating different types of foods that I know I enjoy. Similar thing here, post-workout, we've got cream of rice, protein powder, fruit. Then we've got cereal and protein powder. Then we've got chicken breast, white potato, veg, sauce, whatever the case is. Meal number 4, beef mince, white potato, veg, sauce. Beef mince, rice or pasta, veg, fruit, any sauce, right? Meal number 5, oats, Greek yogurt, blueberries, peanut butter. Option 2, cream of rice mixed with oats, protein powder, boom, 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 that case. But then one thing I want you guys to see as well is there's a decent chunk of volume and fats are relatively high, protein are high. That's because those are the 2 most satiating macronutrients. Now, I wouldn't recommend anyone to follow this exact meal plan. I've just got to preface that out there. Do not follow it. Any of my clients, there's a reason you're not on something like this because you're not on a recovery diet. So don't think, why does mine not look like this? I'm on a stupid high amount of protein and a high amount of fats. So it's designed specifically for me for my recovery diet, which is designed for people post bodybuilding show once you get to extremely lean body fats, okay? Apologies for that. My older brother just came and gave me a hug, which is quite nice. But what I was saying is that oats are very high in satiety, and as you can tell, like my fruit and veg intake is relatively high as well. As well as that, I'm using a lot of things like potato, which are very filling. Potato is one of the most filling foods you can eat. And then also things like cream of rice, I really enjoy. So, you know, I've got a lot of veg in this meal here. It's nearer to the end of the day. I know it's going to fill me up a lot. And then Greek yogurt and oats, once again, a high volume, some veg, some fruit in that one there. So it's all about making it around what you want to do. Make sure you enjoy it, fills you up. And as I've said before, like, I don't think having too much volume isn't the best idea. Having too much volume isn't the best idea, but if it's going to make me stick to the plan, then I'm going to do it. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's the lesser of two evils. So if that's what you need to do for you to stick to the recovery diet and, you know, get out of the post-show phase, you know, in the best ability you can, then so be it, right? I'm okay with that. Now, next is how I fit flexibility into the plan. The way I fit flexibility in my plan, I'll tell you exactly how I did it today, right? So I went and met my mum and my sister. Oh no, did I just cancel the whole recording? I did. Oh well, you won't see the screen recording for that aspect, which is fine because I covered most things anyway. So apologies for that, guys. Now, I went and met my mum and my sister. We went and had a Costa coffee, and then we went to M&S and we got some cookies. So I had one cookie. I quite literally had it on chronometer on my app, tracked it in. I added all the other foods, and I fit it in around the calories, right? So if there's times where I want to eat an off plan, then I will save calories throughout the day. I will lower them in other meals and just afford, like, pre-plan if you can, right? Don't spend ages looking at menus and stuff. But say if you want a large Domino's pizza, right? Let's just say roughly 2,500 calories, okay? And you're on 3,500 calories, okay? Now, it's probably not a good idea to have something like that. However, if you go over the calories ever so slightly, that's another topic I'll touch on in a second. But you could quite literally have a Ninja Creamy, have some egg whites, add a bit of fats in there, like have 2 or 3 meals. You know, that's, let's say, 350 calories each, and then you've got 2,500 calories to play with for that Domino's pizza, right? Save it for nearer to the end of the day, and try prioritize it around maybe before important training session, or if you just want to fit things in with family, that's important to be able to do as well. Like, it's okay to have off-plan meals. It's okay to enjoy yourself, give back to those around you, but just don't start binging and sitting in your room eating by yourself, because that's, you know, you're sitting there, right? Think about it this way. You are sitting in your room eating and damaging your future goals. Like, you are actively trying to negatively impact your life for short-term gratification. You need to think about it as delayed gratification. Once you get out of this post-show phase and calories will start building up, then you'll be like, it'll be a lot easier to fit those things in. And food is always there. Food is always there, okay? So it might be there in front of you and you really want it in a shop, but just think, oh no, this post-show phase is more important. I want to be able to stay leaner, not be fat, not have a short off season. And then once I'm at that spot where I'm recovered, hormones are back to normal, my body's not putting on fat as quickly, I can fit those things in and they will always be there, right? Delayed gratification, okay? So it's all about just tracking it in. And then if there's times where you want to have like an off-plan meal once a week, just don't go crazy overboard. And if you do, just get straight back on the plan, which I'll touch on in a minute. So what my goals body weight wise, so if I actually get up my coaching sheet, so timeline wise, Finn has timelined everything out for me. Essentially, right now, so it is what date is it? The 3rd of July. So by the 7th of July, we're expected to be around 74.2 kilograms. Now that won't be 100% accurate, but essentially rate of gain within the first week was 3%, then 2%, then 1%, and then we're going to be going to 0.5%, right? So I'll do it week by week. So first week post show, 74.2. 72.8 is expected, and then on the 7th of July, 74.2, 14th of July, 75, 75.3, 75.7, and then 76.1, the 4th of August, where my recovery / health phase is set to end. And then long-term wise, exactly a year later, so around exactly a year later, 15th of June, Finn wants me to be around 85 kilograms. So that's 15 kilograms up 1 year post show with no mini cut needed. So that's the goals in terms of weight. Let's see what else there is to go over. The mental side of post show. So it's definitely hard. Like, this is just from my perspective. It's hard. I'm a lot more emotional. There's a lot of things I think about in life, which I done during prep, which I'm, sometimes you can regret, sometimes you don't, but I made my bed and I lie in it. Most important thing is keep busy. Keep as busy as you can. Do things that you wanted to do over prep. See friends, see family. Don't always make it about food. Start a business you've always wanted to start content. Like, don't let yourself disappear off the face of the earth, because that's when things go bad. That's why I'm going to be making loads of these YouTube videos. The next one is going to be pretty exciting because I'm getting a hair transplant surgery. So yeah, that's another thing I'm going to be doing to keep busy. But yeah, mental side post show, pretty hard, but one thing I preach is always smile, always be positive. Hopefully you guys can see that through the videos as well. So, just try to stay as positive as you can, and just know it takes time to get back to normal. Luckily, I've got a very supportive coach, family and friends who are always there for me. And these last couple of days have been really, really hard, to be honest with you, just because of different aspects going on in my life. But I've got clients to show up for, and I've got you guys to show up for. So yeah. And then the importance of post show, I've touched on it already, but it sets up the off season. It gets you sorted in a healthy spot, and it's important to take it seriously. Okay. I know I've touched on it very, very briefly here because I feel like I've gone over it in a lot of detail in the previous sections, but just think about the long-term goals and where you want to be. That's the most important thing. Food focus for myself. So not as high as last time, but high. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Domino's Pizza. I love McDonald's. There's like new burgers, like all these different things, and I want to have them. However, I will save that for my 1 weekly off-plan meal. Simple as. And I'll probably fit it in within my calories. Like, I fit in the cookie today, so that I'm not going to count that as a bloody off-plan meal. But, I would love to eat a load of shit food. Like, trust me, I would. But I want to set an example for my clients because they have done really well post dieting, like all of them. So, if they can do it, so can I, because I've got to take my own advice I give, and my clients inspire me a lot. So yeah, food focus is high. However, I know it will go down eventually. Now, tips to stay on plan: stay busy, communicate with your coach, stay with your coach, most importantly, or get a coach if you are self-coached. Create flexibility within your diet. Pre-plan things so that you don't have to shock yourself and you don't go off plan and you're like, oh, now I only have 10 calories left for the end of the day because I had 3,000 calories in one meal in the morning, right? Pre-plan it. Be smart. So yeah, I know I've touched on it in previous sections in more detail, but that's just a quick rundown of it. And then what to do if you slip up. We'll end it off on this section. Most important thing if you slip up on your post-show diet is get back on the plan. Do not punish yourself. Do not do thousands of steps. Do not do hours of cardio. Do not go down to 1,500 calories like your post your prep diet or whatever the case is, because you don't want to be dieting. The last thing you want to do is diet after you finish prep. You want to get back to being healthy. So if you do slip up, forget about it. It's okay. Let your coach know if you have, and then get back to things right away, back to normal, and then eventually things will start easing off. If it happens again, try realize why it's happening and try find ways to go about it, whether that's with yourself or like tell your coach. They should be able to help you. Like, that's what a coach is for, isn't it? When my clients struggle with post dieting, I'm always there to help. And we make it as sustainable as possible, because I don't expect everyone to be perfect, nor do I expect myself to be perfect. That all-in mentality isn't very healthy, because this is all about being healthy, getting back to a healthy spot. So don't make yourself even worse by punishing yourself and struggling and all these different things. Like, it's a vicious cycle. It's what I did last time. I used to do like 2 hours of cardio after binging, and then the next day I'd put myself on 1,000 calories, and then the day after that I'd be absolutely ravenous and the binge would be even worse. And it was a rinse and repeat cycle, right? Last time I think I went from like 67.5 kilograms all the way to like 78 within a month, something like that. So that's a lot. And I put on a lot within the first week as well, because I went to America 3 days post show. Don't do that. probably don't go on holiday after post show as well. Like, leave it at least a good month or two before you go on holiday. 100%, I'd probably say 2 months. Don't book an all-inclusive. I know it's tempting, just don't. And then also, post-show, do not go to a buffet, okay? Don't go to a buffet. All I would do is just have one off-plan meal, whether that's any main you want and a dessert. Leave it as that. I had Domino's pizza and a Haagen-Dazs large stuffed crust Domino's pizza and a Biscoff Haagen-Dazs. The pizza I had was a spicy pepperoni with sausage and beef added. So that was pretty hefty in calories, but the next day, straight back on plan. And luckily, I've got videos to make to keep myself accountable, and I'm posting updates a lot on Instagram. But that's pretty much it. Maybe I'll post some photos. Actually, go over to my Instagram, you'll see my post-show updates. But yeah, that's going to cover it. Any questions or any support I can provide for you, by all means, let me know. I know it's hard, but you've got this, guys. I will catch you soon. The next video is probably going to be my hair transplant update. So stay tuned for that. If you got this far in the video, comment. Let's have a little think. Let's do recovery. Comment recovery, because that's what this is all about, okay? Take it easy. Thank you for all your support. Almost on 3,000 subscribers. They're like 2,550 now. So hell yeah, let's get to that. I'm going to be pumping out more content for you guys. If you want to see anything specific, let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe, please. And comment for the algorithm. Hell yeah. Take it easy, guys.